Well, I've got a bag of rubbish here ready to recycle. But did you know that if you put a few things in here that can't be recycled, then all of this will go to waste? So let's follow the stinky bins to see what happens to our recycled rubbish.
Who can take your trash out? Stop it down for you.
We've all heard the sound of a garbage truck, but have you ever seen how they work?
Time to get inside the collection truck and get this baby rolling.
The garbage man!
Oh, the garbage man can.
This one's called a split truck. It has two separate compartments for different types of rubbish. A big arm reaches down and grabs the bin and then tips it into the right place. Here, the yellow top wheelie bin means it's rubbish for recycling. Now, you'd think these trucks would fill up pretty quickly, but each one can actually collect a whopping 900 bins a day. Then it's homeward bound.
The garbage man!
This is the materials recovery facility. This is where all the recycling comes and gets unloaded.
Big bulldozers scoop all the rubbish together, and then that rubbish works its way along the conveyor belts into this huge spinning cylinder called a trommel. See all those holes inside? Well, the first process is to separate all the items into groups, like paper, glass and metal. Each machine sorts different things.
This is the bounce belt. It separates lighter things like paper from heavier things like containers. It only takes less than an hour to turn recycled paper into new paper. And for every tonne of paper reused, that's about the weight of a small car. It saves 13 trees.
Look at it all bouncing. Every little bit counts. Over 50% of paper in Australia is made from recycled material. And that's down to you guys. So remember, newspapers, junk mail and pizza boxes can be transformed. Now let's have a look at glass.
There's no limit to the amount of time that glass can be recycled because glass gets turned into glass.
This plant recycles over 30,000 tonnes of glass every year. That's awesome! But not all glass can go into your recycle bin. Windows, mirrors and light globes can't go in. So stop and think before you throw. Time to get hands-on with the plastics. Wow, there's so much stuff here and it moves so fast. But they only need 250 plastic milk cartons to make something like the lid on your wheelie bin. So get busy. Soft drink and shampoo bottles, ice cream and yogurt containers are all recycle-friendly items. Just no plastic bags. Did you hear me? I said no plastic bags. Hey, here's my mate, Mr. Bin. Come on, get stuck in.
Check out what I'm sitting on. This is over 5,000 steel cans. Now, steel cans can be recycled into anything from train tracks to guitar strings, and you guessed it, steel cans. It takes over 600 years for your fizzy drink cans to break down. But if you recycle just one, it'll save enough energy to run your TV for 3 hours. So no excuses, put those cans in your recycle bin right now. You know, with your help, millions more products can be made from stuff you throw away. And a factory like this will turn it into something brand new. I reckon that's pretty special, don't you think? So Meryl, now you know how important and easy it is to recycle. All you've got to do is put the right thing in the right bin. Even get Mum or Dad to help and be proud because you're making a big difference.
Hello friends, come over here. I'm going to demonstrate to you how to crush a can the Scotty can way. This is what you do. You need an empty can first of all, and you need to have shoes on. And then what you do, you put your foot on top of the can and you apply a little bit of pressure, then you get your 2 fingers and you go and it stomps it. Isn't that fantastic? So the reason I'm doing this is because Asher is out and about today learning all about recycling cans. One more time for the road. All right, go see what Asher's doing. I'll be here crushing cans.
Fact. Energy saved by recycling this aluminium can will power a TV set for 3 hours. Fact. Last year, 900 million cans were thrown away. So, is it really worth putting your old cans in the recycling bin? Well, let's take a look and see what happens. Recyclable products end up in a place like this, and here the cans are separated from other products such as paper, cardboard, plastic bottles and anything else that may turn up. Some years back, all of what you're looking at now would have ended up buried underground in a landfill. But today, everything is separated and put to use. The cans are then squished into these large squares or bales and then transported to the largest aluminium melting facility in Australia, which happens to be in Yennora, New South Wales. It is here that our story hots up. As the cans are melted, the paint and coating of the can becomes separate from the aluminium. The separated melted aluminium is then cast into 10-ton blocks, which in turn becomes sheets and then rolled into coils like the ones you see behind me. The next step of the process is the can making facility. The great thing about aluminium is that it keeps its strength no matter how many times it's crushed, melted and reshaped. This means that cans can be recycled again and again and again. And thanks to you guys, 2 billion cans are recycled every year, just by putting your can in the recycling bin. How good is that? I'm Asher Curtin and this has been another report for Studio Disney. See you later!
It's probably the easiest step you can take towards leading a greener lifestyle. But apart from remembering which night is bin night, how much do you really know about recycling? Just by plonking your used bottles, cans, jars and paper in a wheelie bin on your curb, you're doing your bit to save the planet. But does it make any difference if your jar still has jam in it or if your paper still has staples in it? What happens when you put your bin on the curb? I'm on a mission. I'm going to find out. Hey, what's the biggest mistake people make when they're recycling?
Look, it's the plastic bags. They're the worst. You can't put your recycling in a plastic bag if you want it to be recycled. Take them to the supermarket separately. The other thing you have to remember is always take the lids off the plastic bottles.
Hey, Thorpe, if you really want to know about recycling, come back to the plant.
Are you recycling in the right places?
No, I don't recycle.
I do recycle. I separate my recycling out.
I'm going in. This is the business end of the recycling process, and the busier you keep these guys, the better off our planet will be. So, how are Aussies going at the recycling stakes? Are we world champs yet or not?
No, definitely not. The Japanese are beating us with steel cans. They're recycling about 88%, whereas we only manage about 56%.
What about plastic bottles?
No, even worse. No, we're only recycling about 22% of plastic bottles, so we can definitely improve there.
So, how does this become this? Well, first, things that obviously don't belong are fished out by hand. Now, do these fellas a favour, rinse out your bottles and jars, because man, do they smell by the time they get here. Oh, and guys, only put recyclables in your recycle bins.
People are generally pretty good, but some people put really gross stuff in their recycling bin.
What kind of gross stuff?
Well, things like food waste or car batteries, gas cylinders. But I'd say the biggest problem we have is fabric and clothing. Anything stringy can wrap around our equipment and jam it and cause the plant to shut down.
What does this thing do?
This separates paper from containers. So basically we've got these rotating screens and fans lifting the paper up and over, and gravity causes all the containers to roll into the middle and fall onto another conveyor.
Next up, a whopping brake magnet and its sayonara steel cans. This machine uses electric currents to weed out the aluminium cans. Now we're down to all the containers. Inside here, all the smashed up glass is filtered out, ready to head off to the glass factory, while the bigger containers continue on their mission recyclable. I get that this machine sorts plastics, but aren't plastics just plastic?
No, actually there's 7 main types of plastics. To recycle them, we actually have to sort them separately. This clever machine can tell the difference just by shining a beam of light onto them.
Each type ends up in its own massive cage. It's funneled into a baler, which squashes it into a block, ready to be taken off to the processing plant. So, I get the sorting thing, but how do we go from this manky old bottle to this new, clean, ready-to-reuse bottle?
Well, the bales are busted open and then they're shredded into a flake like this, okay, and they're washed and sterilised for about 9 hours, and then they're melted into beads like this. And then those beads are melted into moulds to produce this. This is a baby bottle, and it's heated up, and then we inject it with hot air and it blows up to form this.
Why is it so important for everyone to recycle?
Well, there's lots of reasons. First of all, we save natural resources. To make a tonne of paper from waste paper, we actually save 13 trees. Also, it avoids landfill. If you shove everything into landfill, it pumps out methane gases, which is really bad for the environment.
So don't chuck it, recycle it, because cutting greenhouse gases, conserving our precious natural resources and reducing landfill all starts here. It's a little effort for a big result. Hey Kev, can I get a lift?
In my bid to be green, it's important that I get to know one of the greatest weapons that our planet has in its fight against global warming. Trees.
Trees play a vital role by sucking some of our carbon dioxide emissions back out of the Earth's atmosphere.
But trees are also responsible for producing one of our more valued resources, paper. But what do we do when we need more paper? I mean, we can't just keep chopping down trees. So what's the answer?
Paper is made up of a web of lots and lots of tiny wood fibres, which makes it one of the most recyclable of the recyclables. Hi, I'm Ainsley Kenny from Visy Recycling, where each year we process more than 1 million tonnes of paper. Recycling paper helps cut greenhouse gases and is a real weapon against climate change. By recycling paper and cardboard, Australians reduce their environmental impact by 51%. So once we've collected used paper from homes, offices and schools, how do we recycle it? Well, with the paper sorted into categories, the massive bales are placed into large mixing pots or pulpers. Here, the paper is mixed with recycled water until the fibres break free from one another and turn into a slurry. Yes, it's super noisy, but next, the pulp is cleaned and strained to remove the non-recyclables. Things like paper clips, string, staples and plastic. Newspapers and magazines are also de-inked to remove writing and pictures from the paper. And then the pulp is pressed through large rollers to dry out. Once processed and dried, the recycled paper is wound onto huge jumbo reels. The entire process from start to finish is constantly monitored from the control room by operators. They are looking closely for breaks in the paper that may indicate contamination has made it through the system. If this happens, the problem is located using cameras and then fixed by the operators. Each of the finished jumbo reels weighs around 10 tonnes and holds 14 kilometres of recycled paper. And this paper can now be used to make everything from cardboard boxes to cereal boxes, even pizza boxes. Every time paper is processed, the individual fibres do become slightly weaker. But paper can be recycled many times over and over again. Along with the obvious things like newspapers, magazines and cardboard boxes, there's quite a few paper products that can be recycled despite rumours to the contrary.
Phone books are recyclable, and also envelopes, even with the windows. So too are pizza boxes. Just make sure you eat all the pizza.
Every little bit of paper recycling counts, and it's something that all of us on this planet has the power to do.